for this one, what we're going to do is it's part two. So I want to first go over a quick factoring uh, techniques that you may or may not have seen. So one thing that you want to do when you factor is like if I wanted to factor something like 6x squared, 6x squared plus 11x plus 4. If I wanted to factor that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do this and do a times c. So this is a, that's b, and that's c. A times c is 24 and b is 11. So I'm going to think of all my factors of 24 that add up to 11. So that's like 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8. 3 plus 8 make 24. So I'm going to do that. And then I do this, make a box, right? And then here I put the 6x squared, and here I put the 4. Here I put a 3x squared and an 8x here. Left to right, I get 2x. Left to right, I get just 1, positive 1. Up and down is a 3x. Up and down is a 4. So this factors out to 3x plus 4 times 2x plus 1. You may or may not have seen that, but I wanted to talk about it so that way you are aware of it. Okay? Okay. So let's now talk about find all solutions to 2x squared x, 2 sine squared x minus 1. So for that, what you can do for that is you could actually, two ways to think about it. One way you can probably totally think about it is to, one way to think about it is to, I'm going to replace the sine of x with a 2x. Okay. So I'm going to place it with a 2x squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. So then I'm going to go ahead and do this. 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2, and that adds up to negative 1. Well, that's a negative 2 and a positive 1, so I'm going to do this right here. Put a 2x squared there, put a negative 1 here, put a negative 2x here, and a positive 1x here. This way they have an x in common. This way they have a negative 1 in common. This is a 2x. This way is a 1. So it's 2x plus 1 times x minus 1 equals 0. So 2x plus 1 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. So this is 2x equals negative 1, or x is equal to a half, and x is equal to 1. But x is sine, so we're looking at where is the sine of x equal to negative 1 half, and where is the sine of x equal to 1. Where on the unit circle, or where do those two things equal 1, negative 1 half and 1? So I'm going to go arc sine of negative 1 half, and I get negative 0.5235. So I'm going to do that plus 2k pi. So negative 0.523. So negative 0.523. So negative 0.523 plus 2k pi. And then this guy, 1, well, that's at pi over 2 plus 2k pi. So those are all the spots that it is equal. Oh, I'm sorry. Just need these guys, so take out the 2k pi. Take out this, and actually take out that, because that is not from 0 to 2 pi. Okay? Secant squared x minus 2 tan x equals 4. This one's interesting because you need to think a little bit about what you need. Like what can we do first? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring everything over. So I got secant squared x minus 2 tan x minus 4 equals 0. We have a problem because we have secant squared and we have tan. Well, if we look at your foldable, you know that secant squared x is 1 plus tan squared x. So I'm going to go 1 plus tan squared x minus 2 tan x minus 4 equals 0. So now what does that do? That gets us tan squared x minus 2 tan x minus 3 equals 0. You got this. So then I guess that's negative 3 and negative 2. So that's negative 3 and positive 1. And the cool thing about this is when a is 1, you can just say, well, then it's x minus 3 . Well, let me see. Hold on a second. That's not right. Wait, that's not right because that's not what I have to do, because that is supposed to be, this isn't right. Why isn't this right? Because 1 take away, because it's not 1 plus secant squared x. Secant squared x is 1 plus tangent squared x. So I got that. And 1 take away 3, or 1 take away, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that was right. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's negative 3, negative 2. So that's negative 3 and 1. So then you got x minus 3 times x plus 1 equals 0. So then x equals 3 or x equals negative 1. So you got the tangent of x equals 3 and the tangent of x equals negative 1. So you take the arctan of those and don't forget to add k pi to it. So you can do, so this would be the arctan of 3, which you can find in your calculator. All right. How about this one? Negative 10 cosine squared x minus 3 sine x plus 9 equals 0. That one I want you to try to do. Remember that if you don't know how to do, or if it doesn't factor, you got the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I want you to have those ready to go in class, because I think you understand how to do this. Same thing with this one. This guy, you want to bring this, the secant squared x plus 5 tan x plus 2 equals 0. This guy, look in your identity, which I believe is 1 plus tan squared x. So plus 5 tan x plus 2 equals 0. And then you can polish that up and do factoring. All right, so I know that was kind of sweet because I want you to actually do these by yourself. I look forward to seeing you in class, and may the force be with you.